Hello everyone, this is Calvin Castine. We're at South Acres Field on this Thursday evening, September 3rd, 1987. We're here for game number 3 in the best of 5 finals in the Gentlemen's Slow Pitch League. League president and probably plate umpire tonight, Bob Hall on your right. The man who will probably be umping the bases, Mike Collier, on your left, are going over the ground rules and related items with the two managers, Jerry Facette from Rigsbee's on your right, and Richard Mad Dog Castine on your left. This is game number 3 in the best of 5 finals in the Gentlemen's League. In the first game, Rigsbee's came away with the victory, outscoring K&L by a score of 7-5. And last night's ball game, K&L came back with an 11-6 win. Rigsbee's the defending champions in the league. K&L, formerly known as Beaumont, finished in first place this season, and last year lost to Rigsbee's in 4 games in the best of 5 series.
Play like a bunch of crazy dogs out there and have some fun! Walker, really
K&L will be the home team. Rigsbee's will bat first. Defensively for K&L. Don't see any surprises out there. We have Gary DeCoste at first. Bill Glode behind the plate. Gary Boris at first. Randy LeBombard at second. Randy Davison at short. Dale Cardin at third. Dennis Phillips in left. Dan Trombley left center. Jim Davison in right center. And Jim Wood in right field. We don't see Larry Belrose here. He's probably has a conflict with his classes again. He's a part-time student at the moment. Gary Facette trying to decide which ball he wants to start the game with here, which one he wants to hit. Facette will lead off for Rigsbee's. He's a team manager and first baseman. And the first pitch of the ball game from DeCoste, in there for strike one. Deep, ball one. Off the roof. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Facette will have to keep it between the lines. ASA softball rules. Foul ball on the 3rd strike is an out. Pitch from DeCoste. Slow roller. Davison to first, not in time. Cardin unable to get it. And Davison, by the time he picked it up, the left-handed batting Gary Facette had beat it out. I think he would have beat it out even if he was running from the right side. This is Brian Foster. He's the right center fielder. On deck tonight, Lonnie Cleland. That's fouled. There are 2 balls out in that direction. So a little change in the batting order here for Rigsbee's. Mark Riel had been batting 3rd. Lonnie Cleland, who's more of a power hitter, has been moved up to bat 3rd with Keith Riel to follow him. No pitch. Big mark on the ball where the ball apparently hit the roof. And Hall is going to try to clear it off. The other ball is back, and they're going to start with that one. Hall gave the ball to Mad Dog Castine to clean up. And here's the pitch. Foster lines it. Fair ball. There's a throw to third. Good throw, Cardin. One of those in-between hops. Cardin unable to pick it up. A good throw, and not Cardin's fault. It's just one of those tough plays where the ball's almost at your feet. So runners move up to second and third here. Foster at second. Gary Facette at third. Nobody out. And Lonnie Cleland, the power hitter, shortstop, is up. Foul ball, not by much. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. That's a base hit. Phillips will pick it up. Toss to the cutoff, and they're going to concede 2 runs. 2 score on that, on a base hit to left. Foster kept right on running. And Rigsbee picks up 2 here with no out. A single there for Lonnie Cleland, a 2 RBI single. And a cleanup batter coming up, Keith Riel. Ball 1. Ball 2. Dan Caron on deck. He's batting 5th tonight. Strike. Glenn Facette had been batting in 6th place. Riel gives it a drive. Jim Davison with a nice grab. Cleveland tags and goes to second. Well, that's about as far as Riel can hit it and still keep it in the park. We have 1 out. Dan Caron, the batter. With Randy LaValle on deck. Here's the pitch from DeCoste. It's in there for strike 1. Pitch, line drive, base hit up the middle. That's going to score another run as Davison played it off his shoulder. Well, K&L not doing the things they're supposed to do to be a championship team. And Rigsbee's off to a quick 3-0 lead here with 1 out and a runner at first. In the top of the first, batter Randy LaValle. Glenn Facette on deck. Davison to Bombard to first. Double play, just barely. Davison gave that to Bombard a little high. He had to bring it down and turn it. And he got it just in time to get Randy LaValle. So K&L turns 2 to get out of the inning, but Rigsbee's comes up with 3 big important runs. And after a 1/2 inning of play, it's Rigsbee's 3, K&L coming to bat. Another big turnout from the North Country here to cheer on K&L tonight. K&L was not a very popular team when they were in the Lake Champlain League. They kept winning it all. But since they moved here to the Gentlemen's League, they picked up a lot of Northern Tier fans. Big news I heard last night, straight from K&L coach Richard Mad Dog Castine was that win or lose, K&L is moving from the Gentlemen's League to the Adirondack League in West Plattsburgh next season. Strike one to Dennis Phillips, a left fielder, leading off here in the bottom of the first. A base hit. Riel picks it up, tosses it in. And K&L has their lead batter on. And a batter, Randy Davison with Jim Davison on deck. Pitch from Dan Caron. Strike one. Too high, too much arc, ball. Rigsbee's a team comprised predominantly of Beekmantown players. Back to Caron, could be two to Cleland to first. Would have been close, but there was no question on that. It pulled Gary Facette off the bag. Would have been a close play had the throw been a little bit lower. Well, comebacker to Dan Caron, and he gets the lead runner on it. One out. And Jim Davison the batter. With Dale Cardan moving on deck. Ball. Strike. Too much arc. And for those of you unfamiliar, it's supposed to be 6 feet to 12 feet from the ground. The ball has to fall within that area, 6 to 12 feet from the ground. Anything less is a ball, anything over that is a ball. The umpire is supposed to call it on its way down, and the batter has the option of swinging or not. There's ball 4. Well, Jim Davison draws a walk. Very patient batter. He'll take the walk to get on. He's an excellent hitter, but he's not afraid to look at 4. So we have Davison's at first and second, Randy at second, Jim at first, and a cleanup man, Dale Cardan, the batter. For some strange reason, I have a mosquito here buzzing around my head. Temperature has got to be somewhere in the low 50s. I'm out here in my winter coat, fighting a mosquito. Ball. Cardan drives it through for a base hit. Randy Davison will score. An RBI for Dale Cardan. Jim Davison goes to second, and Randy Davison scores run number 1 for K&L. 1 out, a 3-1 ball game in the bottom of the first inning, and the batter Randy LaBombard, the second baseman. The pitch from Caron. On the ground, Alan Facette goes to second. And with nobody covering first, LaBombard has an easy walk into first. Well, they get Cardan. They have 2 down. And the batter now, Gary Boris.
Let's go, man!
Runners at the corners. Potential tying run at first. With 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Pitch from Caron. Boris hits it. Nice play by Cleland. He'll barely barely beat out La Bombard. So 1 run across for K&L. After 1 full inning, it's Rigsbee's 3, K&L 1. Left fielder Glenn Fassett to be followed by second baseman Alan Fassett here in the top of the 2nd inning. 3-1 to score. Rigsbee's leading K&L Plumbing 3-1. Game number 3, best of 5 finals in the Gentlemen's Slow Pitch League. On the ground, Davison to first. 1 down. Glenn Fassett, a very emotional ball player. He'll probably go back there and scream a little bit. Kicks the backstop. Alan Fassett now with Mark Riel on deck. Game momentarily delayed while Mike Collier, the umpire, adjusts first base after Fassett kicked it. He had to re-strap it down. Strike 1. Deep, ball 1. 1-1 to count. Ball 2, 2-1. Strike 2, 2-2.
Come on, Cheater! Come on, baby!
And a pitch from DeCoste. Popped up, should be caught. La Bombard drifting back. He'll pull it down. Javelli on the grass. Out number 2. And a batter now, Mark Riel, moved down to number 9 in the batting order. All the way up, down from number 3, with Ed Castine on deck. And a pitch from DeCoste. Strike 1. 2 outs, nobody on. Davison bobbles, that's not going to do it. He's going to field those cleanly. Riel, a good runner. And he knew as soon as he bobbled it, that was it. Riel had the base made. They'll bring up number 10 in the batting order, Ed Castine, the catcher, with the top of the order to follow. And here's DeCoste's pitch. Just barely misses wide. Ball 1. Ball 2. Don't want to walk number 10 in the lineup to pitch to number 1. Ball 3. DeCoste having a little trouble finding the plate here at the moment. Time called. He'll walk around a bit. Step back on the rubber. And a pitch. Strike 1. 3-1. Dale Cardin off the chest. The second, not in time. K&L continuing to not make the plays they have to make. And you can't open the door too many times for this Rigsbee's team, as they'll push a pile of runs across. If you do, Gary Fassett looks at strike 1. Cardin, the second, not in time, no. The bases are loaded. And Brian Foster, he poked one over the fence. I think it was last night he hit. I know he's got 1 home run in this series. I think he drove in the first run of the game last night for Rigsbee's with a home run. And another one. Rigsbee's not getting the ball out of the infield, but I guess they don't have to. And it's 4-1 as Foster reaches.
Make a play.
And Lonnie Cleland, the batter.
Come on, please. They see it, Lonnie.
It's the back edge of the mat for strike one. On the ground, Davison to second. And they finally do it right. After a very sloppy inning, K&L will come in and bat. And they trail 4-1 as we go to the bottom of the second. Press photographer Casey Simpson moving over to get a shot from the other side, I believe, unless she's heading for another ball game. Usually about this time of the game, she moves over to get a better shot from that side, and that's where she's going. Jim Wood will bat here to lead off the bottom of the second. "4-1 the score. Rigsbee's leading K&L. Wood will be followed by Pete McMillan and Dan Trombley. Pitch from Dan Caron. Strike one. And tight, ball one. 1-1. There's a base hit. And Jim Wood, the leadoff single. Bottom of the second. Batter now, the extra player, Pete McMillan. Strike one. Ball, 1-1. Deep but playable. Keith Riel will pull it down. Jim Wood will go up. The throw will be off the line. And McMillan is out. And the batter Dan Trombley with Gary DeCoste to follow. One down, a runner in scoring position. And Dan Trombley the batter. Illegal. Cleland knocks it down, throws to first in time. Oh, excuse me. I gotta watch the umpire, I guess, so I'm gonna do this job. It's a case where Facette's foot was off the bag, pulled off the bag on a throw. Mike Collier a little bit more alert than I am. He caught it. The fans in back of me caught it. So we have runners at first and second. Dan Caron checking with his defense. Gary DeCoste, the batter, with Bill Glode on deck. DeCoste hits it. Trombley tried to get out of the way. Hit his foot. So the ball is dead. The ball is dead. Wood will have to go back to second. DeCoste credited with a single in that situation. Trombley is out. We have 2 outs now. Bill Glode, the batter, the top of the order to follow. Runners at first and second. Glode representing the potential tying run here in the bottom of the second. Glode, we didn't see him in game number 2. However, he played an exceptional game in game number 1. A couple of hits and made a couple of excellent defensive plays. Strike hits the front of the plate. Glode doesn't quite concur. And pitch number 2 from Karen is going to be ball. 1-1. Ball. Inside. 2-1. On the ground, off Karen's glove. Oh, break there for K&L. Ball was going up the middle. Cleveland might have had a good shot at it. Karen, who's a good defensive pitcher, deflected it off his glove, wasn't able to field it cleanly, and as a result, it's going to be an infield hit for Bill Glode. And the bases are loaded, but there are 2 outs. And the leadoff man in the lineup, Dennis Phillips, the left fielder, is the batter. And a pitch from Karen. Up the middle, that'll score at least 1, maybe 2. Real picks it up, fires home. Here's the throw, here's the play. He's going to be out. Now you got DeCoste coming in. A perfect throw and a nice play by Castine with the tag. Oh, DeCoste out at the plate on an excellent play, an excellent throw by the left center fielder, Keith Riel. He gave Ed Castine a perfect ball to handle. He turned and got the tag. And a little dustier than he was when he came in. Gary DeCoste will go out to the pitching rubber. And after 2 full innings, it's Rigsbee's 4, K&L 2.
Go right now, Keith. Come on.
And the man who made the good throw to end the second inning will lead off the third inning. Keith Riel, the left center fielder, 4-2 the score. Dan Karen, the pitcher, on deck.
Right now, Keith. Right now. Come on, guys.
Away again, Woody, on your toes, Woody.
The power of the play. Come on, Keith. Come on, guys. Take yours. Take yours.
DeCoste still finding dirt. Swallowed a bit.
Take a turn. Stay here. Stay here. Stay here.
Leadoff single by Keith Riel, and once again, Rigsbee's poised to score. There have been runs in every half inning thus far. Rigsbee scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second. K&L scored 1 in the first and second. 4-2's the score. Dan Karen, the batter. Randy LaValle on deck. Strike 1. Ball, 1-1. On the ground, Cardin will go to second. In time, but just barely. Well, they get a lead runner, and had Cardin fielded it cleanly, they probably would have only gotten 1 runner anyway. Seemed to stick in his glove, had a little trouble getting it out. This is Randy LaValle, he's the third baseman. He looks at strike 1. We have 1 out and Karen at first. Pitch from DeCoste. Should be caught. Jim Davison will grab. Karen going into second, and he'll be in there. Well, 2 down and a runner in scoring position. And Glenn Fassett, the batter.
Nothing over, Dennis. Dennis, nothing over you, Denny.
He has the power to hit it over the fence. Alan Fassett moves on deck. Ball 1.
Watch your way sometime, Woody.
Strike 1-1. Ball outside, 2-1. On the line, Dennis Phillips pulls it down. So for the first time in this ball game, Rigsbee's is scoreless in their half of an inning, and it's going to go now to the bottom of the third with the score holding at Rigsbee's 4, K&L 2. For K&L in the bottom of the third, it'll be their number 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming to the plate. Randy Davison, Jim Davison, and Dale Cardin. Ball 1.
Go, bring it!
Mark Riel pulls it down, and we have 1 away. And a batter now, Jim Davison.
Come on, Jimbo! Come on, Jimbo! Come on now! Go, yep! Come on now!
Strike 1. Ball 1. 1-1. Good drop in, it is. Foster cuts it off and throws it in a hurry. Oh, it's a single for Jim Davison. And I'll bring to the plate now the third baseman, Dale Cardin, with Randy LaBombard on deck. Strike 1. Deep, way deep. Ball 1, 1-1. So potential tying run at the plate. 4-2 the score in the bottom of the third. Cardin hits a single to right. Riel will pick it up. And Jim Davison will stay put at second. So Dale Cardin with a single to the opposite field. And with 1 out, we have runners at first and second. Randy LaBombard, the batter, with Gary Boris on deck. LaBombard, one of the top bowlers in the North Country. When he was growing up, his father Stanley was managing the Beaumont lanes. I'm sure that helped him to get where he's gotten on the bowling alleys. 1-1 to count. Two and 1. Three and 1. O'Karen 1 pitch away from loading him up with 1 out. And a 3-1 pitch, swung on, hit to Cleland, bobbled it, then bobbled it right off his shoulder. Barely slowed it down. Jim Davison's going to score. Cleland did not bobble that. It took a sudden hop right over his elbow. I think it's another case of a player looking to turn 2 before he's got the ball. So we have runners at first and second. LeBombard reaches. Gary Boris, the batter. It's a 4-3 ball game. On the ground, Karen knocks it down to Cleland. To first. Not in time. Goes out, and we have a tie game. Did not go out of play. Went over by me, but not out of play. And on the misplay, Gary Boris goes to second. So 4-4 the score. Bottom of the third inning, potential lead run. At second base, Jim Wood, the batter. He looks and hits. Foul territory. Glenn Fassett will pull it down. Oh, Wood did not look at the pitch. I thought he would. But he hit it foul and deep. Well, K&L pushes across 2, and after 3 full innings, it's Rigsbee's 4, K&L 4. Alan Fassett will lead off. The fourth inning. Fours are wild at the moment. It's 4-4 in the fourth. In game number 3. So this series is all tied up. Strike one. 1 game apiece, 4 runs apiece. Popped up, Jim Wood. Pulls it down, and we have 1 out. And that'll be the number 9 and number 10 man in the batting order. However, the number 9 batter here was number 3 the first 2 games. That's Mark Riel. Comebacker to DeCoste. To Boris. 2 down. And the catcher, Ed Castine, the batter. Strike one from DeCoste. Base hit. Phillips will hustle it in. And a batter, Gary Fassett. First baseman and team manager, he looks at ball 1. 2 outs, runner at first. That's a base hit. Wood will pick it up. Toss it to LeBombard. We'll have runners at the corners. And Brian Foster, the batter. And a pitch, strike one. Runners at the corners. High, but not too deep. Dennis Phillips will squeeze it. And for the second inning, there's nothing across for Rigsbee's. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth with the score remaining. Rigsbee's 4, K&L 4. The extra player, Pete McMillan. Leading off the bottom of the fourth, he pops it up. Gary Fassett calling, he'll squeeze it. Right on the foul line for out number 1. McMillan trying to go the opposite way, and he pops it up. The batter now, Dan Trombley, the left center fielder.
Let's go, Needy! Come on, Dale!
Ball.
Come on, guys! Come on!
Baby, right shot now.
Strike. Hits the inside of the mat. 1-1. Any ball that's properly pitched hits the mat or the plate is a strike. LaValle to Facette, and we have 2 down. Well, 2 up, 2 down. Gary DeCoste, the batter, with Bill Glode on deck. DeCoste reached his first time, but he was out at the plate, trying to score on a Dennis Phillips single, trying to score from second. Pitch from Karen. There's a base hit. Opposite field hit for the left-handed batter. And DeCoste is on with 2 outs, and Bill Glode, the batter.
You're the top of the order now.
Dennis Phillips on deck. Strike 1. On the ground, Karen. Facette steps on first. Nothing across for K&L, but they'll have the top of their order coming up in the 5th. We go now to the top of the 5th after 4 full innings. It's Rigsbee's 4, K&L 4. The number 3, 4, and 5 batters coming up for Rigsbee's in the top of the 5th. A big inning here for Rigsbee's. Offensively, a big inning defensively for K&L. He's out. A sinking liner. And Cleland is out. Oh, a very good play there by Dale Cardin. Get that first very important leadoff runner out. Leadoff batter. And a batter now, Keith Riel. Strike 1. As I said at the top of the program, according to K&L coach Richard Castine, this is K&L's last season in the Gentlemen's League. They moved here 2 seasons ago, and after this season they're going to switch to the Adirondack League. They came up from the Lake Champlain League. As a base hit, Jim Davison will take it on a hop. And Keith Riel has a 1-out single. So last year, K&L, then known as Bolmart, lost in the finals to Rigsbee's. Gives them that extra incentive. I'm sure they want to leave this league as champions, as they did with the Lake Champlain League. Dan Karen wraps a beautiful catch and a handstand to go with it. Jim Davison. Beautiful diving catch. Well, that is 2 excellent plays that the K&L defense made this inning. The batter, Randy LaValle, the third baseman. Ball 2. Excuse me, 1-1. First pitch was a strike. Here's the pitch. Strike 2, 1-2. DeCoste ahead on the count. 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. The Valley swings. DeCoste smothers it to first. And a couple of beautiful plays by the K&L defense kept Rigsbee from having a big inning. But those are the type of plays, along with the routine ones, that K&L has to win if they're going to be crowned champs in this league. After 4.5, we go to the bottom of the 5th with the score holding at Rigsbee's 4, K&L 4. Top of the order for K&L. Dennis Phillips, the left fielder, will lead off the bottom of the 5th. And of course, this is a crucial inning for Rigsbee's. High charity hop to Cleveland. He goes to Facette. We have one down. And the batter now will be Randy Davison, shortstop. Nice play by Karen. He goes to first, and we have two down. And Davison gives the bag a little kick at first. And the batter, Jim Davison. 4-4 in the bottom of the 5th. Game number 3 in the best of 5 finals. Gentlemen's slow pitch league action. Ball 1. Ball. Ball 3. 3-0 the count. Davidson's already walked once this game. Strike, just barely hit the front of the plate. 3-1. Strike 2. Karen as good as anyone at spotting his pitches. Oh, Karen, after going 3-0, works him to a full count and a payoff pitch. Glenn Facette pulls it down and left. 3 up, 3 down for K&L. We go to the 6th inning now. With the score, Rigsbee's 4, K&L 4. We want to thank Bob Hall, the Ward 1 alderman here. This is Glenn Facette leading off the 6th inning. The help he gave us and getting us on Channel 10 in Plattsburgh. A line shot, that's through. Oh, another leadoff single here for Rigsbee's. Glenn Facette. So this game will not only be shown on Channel 21 in the Champlain, Rouse's Point, Chazy, and Moores area, but also will be shown throughout the North Country cable system. Alan Facette back to DeCoste. The second for 1, the first. Safe. Had the ball been fielded cleanly, he would have been safe anyway. Oh, we have 1 out. Runner at first. Mark Riel, the batter, with Ed Castine to follow. So we want to welcome the Channel 10 viewers. Ball 1. Ball 2.
Make him do a strike.
2-1. Jim Wood makes the catch. Alan Facette going for third. He's going to be out. He was out by a bit. That was not an especially close play. And if I may say, not an especially smart one. Had he stayed at second, Ed Castine would have been the batter, and Ed Castine made an out. The top of the order would have led off the seventh. However, they'll have the number 10 man to lead off the seventh as we go now to the bottom of the sixth with a score. Rigsbee's 4, K&L 4. The cleanup batter, Dale Cardan, the third baseman, will lead off the bottom of the sixth. He'll be followed by Gary Boris. And, he'll be followed by Randy LeBombard with Gary Boris to follow him. So 4, 5, and 6 batters up here for K&L. They cannot afford to go down 1, 2, 3 again here. And then they'll have the bottom of the order up in the bottom of the seventh. Cardan hits it well. Mark Riel will grab it, and we'll have one down. However, there's still a lot of power, a lot of hitting at the bottom of this order. I was talking with Lake Champlain League President Dave Lambert over there with the Cowboys jacket on at the Lake Champlain banquet. He said Dan Trombley, who bats usually 8th or 9th, I think 8th for this team, this K&L team, would probably bat cleanup for just about any team in the Lake Champlain League. The umpire looks at ball 1, 1-1 to count. Deep for setback, you'll have room. Dropped it. He had it a while. We'll see what the ruling is here. Looked like he had it. He had it. Look, I don't know. Umpire Mike Collier's got a better view. Bob Hall coming out to get control. Hall and Collier are going to confer. Collier had a better view than we do as whether he had control or not. Facette down now. He may have injured himself out in left field. It looked from here like he had control, but Collier in better position to see if he did. And Glenn Facette may be injured in left field. And I just heard someone say that they want an ambulance.
Hey, don't worry about it.
He may have cut himself on that fence. Mad Dog going over to see how Facette is, and Alan Facette all upset here. What they do, overrule here? I guess Hall has decided. I think this plate umpire's call, and Hall has decided that it was a catch. So, in addition to the possible injury out here, we have some other drama going on in the field. This is less important as this is over here. Glenn Facette may be badly injured. Bob Hall saying that he thought it was a good, clean catch. Collier, I guess, did not convince him otherwise. And Hall, I guess it's his call, and he's saying it's a catch. And they're going to discuss it here. Mad Dog looking up the rules to see whose call it is, probably. League President Bob Hall not making a dime out of this. He may be asking himself why he's doing this. The league umpires are on strike. They went on strike just prior to the playoffs. So Bob Hall has been umping a pile of games, donating his time. Mike Collier on your left came up from the Keysville League. He's being paid, but Hall could easily have hired another umpire and saved himself a pile of grief. But he is here umping the game, donating his time, not, as I said, not making a dime out of this, and and taking a lot of grief from both teams. And in the meantime, we have an injured player in left field. Ambulance arriving here at the scene. We have shut off at 22 minutes before the hour of 9 here. We'll check our clock, see how long we've been off. We've been off about 5 minutes. Ambulance has now arrived. It's somewhere in that parking lot over there. They'll be coming in through the fence. So Glenn Facette apparently has an injury serious enough to warrant an ambulance call. Not sure if he can get through that fence. Going over the curb, and here they arrive. In the meantime, they're still discussing the play. I checked with that imminent umpire, Ken Bushy, and he, as well as anybody, knows the rule books on baseball, and he said that new rule, the continuation, even if the guy took 10 steps, it ruled as no catch. The time now is 9 minutes before the hour of 9. They're still going over the rule book, and they're now loading Glenn Facette in the ambulance. Not sure if Rigsbee has another player on the bench to put in, and they're still deciding what that rule is. Just talking with Dick Perry, the league secretary, treasurer. He said he read the rule. He just went home and got his rule book and read the rule, and his interpretation is that it would be the batter is safe. Ken Bushy says he's safe, but it's going to matter here what Mike Collier and Bob Hall say, and they're studying the book, wanting to make the correct call in this important game for both teams. I saw Mad Dog motion his head yes, and looks like he's going to be a runner at third. Glenn Facette leaving in the ambulance, and Bob Hall just told us that he has a broken leg. The ruling is that the batter is safe. But with the injured player with a broken leg, it takes a little bit of the luster and the importance off a game like this, I would think. Gary Boris, the batter now. Randy LeBombard at third base. And we apparently have a new catcher. Yes, Greg Facette is here. I'd forgotten about Greg. He's been keeping score the last few games. Greg Facette is here. He'll be catching. Ed Castine will move to the outfield. Ed Castine will be in left field, replacing Glenn Facette. So we are, in case you've lost track, in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 outs, 4-4 the score. Potential lead run at third. And the number 6 man in the batting order, Gary Boris, scheduled to bat next. We will read the rule, or else we'll ask Dick Perry to read it for us, the league secretary-treasurer, if he won't read it. If he's a little camera shy, we'll read the rule between innings. The exact wording of the rule on this play. The controversy is because Facette caught the ball, took a step and a half, as I saw it. I didn't check the replay on it. And then ran into the fence. If I were umping, I would have, unless I saw him bobbling the ball where he didn't have control of it, I would have called LeBombard out. But the ruling is that you have to catch it, and if you lose the ball on a continuation where you run into a fence or another player, you have to take the ball out of your glove or be about to take it out and presenting the ball. You have to show the ball as being caught. And there's no question that Glenn Facette did not show it, but we'll read the exact wording on that following this half inning. Gary Boris, the batter. He's a fast runner, so a tough man. Infield have to field it cleanly should he hit a ground ball. Strike one. And Dan Caron once again tosses his gum to the crowd. So another fan out there has a lucky souvenir. LaValle, the first. I thought there were 2 outs, apparently not. I forgot, yes, Dale Cardan led off. There's only 1 out. Now there are 2 outs. Now there are 2 outs. Dale Cardan led off the inning, made the out. Lombard followed with what turned out to be a triple. So now we have 2 outs. Apologize for losing track of the out situation. But I don't have a scorebook in front of me. I have to rely on my memory, and that's a lot to rely on. This is Jim Wood, who's in the batting circle now, batting box. He looks at ball 1. Pete McMillan on deck. So K&L actually has 2 chances here to get the Lombard home. Here's the pitch from Caron. Illegal pitch, ball 2. Strike, 2-1. Bottom of the 6th inning. Wood to LaValle, to first. And Rigsbee holds him. Imagine if someone had thrown a slice of raw meat in that crowd. That's business as usual for the Rigsbee's team. We go now to the top of the 7th inning with the score. Rigsbee's 4, K&L 4. It'll be the catcher, Ed Castine, followed by the top of the order. As we go here to the top of the 7th. And the pitch from DeCoste. Ball 1. Ball 2. There's a strike, 2-1. Time.
Go away, Dennis. Lady Dale.
Dennis Phillips. 1 down. Top of the order now, Gary Fassett, the first baseman and team manager. Also chief cheerleader too. Pitch from DeCoste. Strike. Dale Cardan bobbled it. Knocked it down and that was it. I think he may have got it in the teeth. Not quite sure what this little rhubarb is all about. Always something going on. The sidelines are often more interesting. Randy Davison, what a beautiful catch. Reminder of the catch he made to end game number 2. Nice catch going to his left to catch Brian Foster's line drive. As I was saying, this is as we watch Lonnie Cleland step in here. What goes on the sidelines is often more interesting than what goes on in the field when Rigsbee's and K&L meet. Cleland hits it deep. Deep. Dan Tremblay. Beautiful catch on a well-hit ball by Lonnie Cleland. Dan Tremblay with what could prove to be a game saver. With 2 outs, I'm sure Fassett was running and he would have scored had that been not caught. Pete McMillan, Dan Tremblay, Gary DeCoste will lead off when we go to the bottom of the 7th. So we have the 7, 8, and 9 place batters coming up for K&L here in the bottom of the 7th. All tied up here after 6.5. 4-4. Rigsbee scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second. K&L 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 in the third. And they've been scoreless since then. Everybody's been scoreless since the 3rd inning. 1-1, the count. Ball in tight, 2-1. Foul. I'll even the count at 2-2. Two the count. Illegal. Hit the front of the plate. It would have been a strike had it not been illegal. This gets a little rise out of pitcher Karen and coach Gary Fassett. Full count. Payoff pitch to McMillan. It's going, it's gone. A leadoff home run by Pete McMillan, and the ball game is over. Bob Hall makes sure he touches them all. A leadoff home run to left field by the extra player, Pete McMillan. An exciting conclusion to an excellent ball game. K&L will take a 2-1 lead in this best of 5 series. Game number 4 to be played on September 4th. On Friday. K&L owner Charlie Trombley over there congratulating his team. We got so excited after the end of that half inning we forgot to read that rule. We're going to have Mr. Dick Perry, who is the league treasurer and secretary both.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Dick Perry going to read the rule interpretation for us on that, at the time, controversial call in left field.
Well, under Rule 1, Section 12, it gives a definition of a catch. And under that definition, it says it is not a catch if a fielder, immediately after he contacts the ball, collides with another player or wall, or falls to the ground and drops the ball as a result of the collision or falling to the ground. And it gives an example that if B1 hits fly to F8, F8 gets the ball in his hands but drops it, it is not a catch. That's what's under Rule 1, Section 12.
And that pretty well covers what happened in this play, except it wasn't the F8, it was F7, but it's pretty well covers except for the actual position being named. Thank you, Dick Perry. That'll be it from South Acres Field on this Thursday evening, September 3rd. K&L takes the victory. They move up 2-1 in this best of 5 series.